Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we're gonna talk about some very popular interior design trends and I am just the messenger, okay? I wanna hear from you. What is your take on them? What do you think? Sound off in the comment section down below. And be sure if you haven't already, you hit that subscribe button, become a part of our first 100,000 subscribers here on the channel because we would love to have you as a part of our GarrettLeChic family. Now, the first trend we have to talk about, we absolutely need to discuss. One that is major and popular is color drenching. Yes, you knew I was gonna bring this up. Every designer is loving color drenching right now. And color drenching is essentially just painting everything the same color. Usually it's an interesting color, something somewhat unexpected. Maybe it's more muted. Actually, I really don't like a vibrant, overly saturated color in a color drench situation, or any color for that matter. Like, nobody wants to see your highlighter yellow living room. So, you know, something muted, something soft, something elegant, something demure. I get asked about color drenching all of the time, so I'm gonna give you a couple of tips to consider, and you need to let me know what your thoughts are. Number one, if I'm gonna color drench, I'm doing everything in the same finish of paint. Probably either a flat or an eggshell. I don't like a flat paint on trim, so if I'm doing everything in the same finish, I'm gonna lean to do everything in the same finish and I don't want flat on trim. So I'm gonna go with eggshell. I like color drenching because it envelops the space. I'm doing the ceiling, the crown molding, the walls, and the baseboards, and all of the door trim, the doors themselves. I'm going big or I'm going home, okay? And when I go home, it's gonna be color drenched, right? No, just kidding. I think color drenching is great to really simplify a space, especially if you're looking for a very tonal feel. You want something that has that like womb-like, all-encompassing, soft atmosphere. This can also blur the size of a room a little bit, make your ceilings look a little taller, make your space look a little bigger. You can achieve that with color drenching, and I think that's cool. You can actually color drench with white. Yes, that probably is unexpected because you're thinking color and I say white. But color drenching is just the idea of painting everything the same color. If I am painting a space white, I am color drenching it. I'm gonna do all the same tone of white. The ceiling, yes, I don't use ceiling paint. I use regular paint in a color that matches the walls. And the crown molding, the trim, the doors, all of it, I'm gonna do in the same color and the same finish. And you know, you can easily color drench in black as well. When you're doing something like a white or a black, you might think like, it's a little flat, it needs a little dimension. You can actually mix the finish of paint. So let's say you do a flat on the wall and you do a satin on the trim to get a little bit of a gloss, a sheen, something that stands out a little bit in a different way. I think that's exciting and I like that. Color drenching is great if you're looking for that minimal take on something. You know, and like I keep saying, crown molding, crown molding. I think color drenching looks great in a more traditional style architectural home. I think that's when it looks best, when you have a lot of molding, because it allows it to pop and stand out and speak a little bit louder. But if you have a modern, a contemporary home, even if it's just like a builder grade home where you've got like, you know, there's no trim on the walls, you got baseboards and drywall, like, okay, that's it. Color drenching can be great to make a space feel more modern. Color drench it all in black and add some interesting lighting, done. It looks chic, it looks expensive and sophisticated. I love that. A lot of people underestimate the fact you can color drench with wallpaper. Ooh, I know you are like, what? This is unheard of. You can color drench with wallpaper. If you find a wallpaper that is tonal, let's say it's like this picture you're looking at has a blue on blue wallpaper, which I love blue, you can color drench. They've taken one of the blue tones, the darker blue, and they're using it on the trim in this space. Looks gorgeous, it's amazing, and then they've layered in some furniture that works with that as well. I think it's great because we're letting the floors in this photo really pop and speak and stand out. So color drenching with wallpaper is also very interesting, and it's something I would recommend. I think it's interesting. I think color drenching is great, whether you're doing it in a non-color like white or black, or you're doing it in a neutral tone, something a little more vibrant, and maybe even a jewel tone. That could be chic. I love color drenching. Sound off below. Another trend right now, she is back and back with a vengeance, are black window frames. Black window frames are very interesting to me. I've never lived in a house with black window frames, and I see it all the time. I think it's interesting and cool. And you know, I always say, like, here in Las Vegas, we do this. In Las Vegas, everything is done by like tract home builders for the most part. We have a handful of custom neighborhoods that have really high-end homes, but for the most part, everything is done by tract home builders, and they don't usually offer that as an upgrade. So you don't see it all that often here. Not saying that nobody has it or they can't do it. You could always paint your window trim. I wouldn't do that myself though, because you could easily paint a window shut and then now you can't open it. And if, you know, your house catches on fire, you're trapped. I don't like that, obviously. So black window frames are great, They really stand out, they really pop. Black is such a saturated, not color because it's just so interesting to me, and I love a space that has a black accent. So your window frame can be that. A lot of people also find that a black window frame, I'm looking at my windows right now, out at my stunning view, because a black window frame actually frames that view better. You get less contrast or less glare from the white surrounding it, and it actually lets you see out into that view better, or so people think or feel. I mean, it's true, it does. It frames the view out of your window, and I think that's interesting, and that's why a lot of people like it. That black accent and framing that view often makes a big deal and really stands out in a space. Something you have to think about and consider is actually that black absorbs light. It is the most light absorbent color there is. Black, white, and gray are shades, tints, and tones. They're not technically colors. They're used to make other colors. They're like the pure baseline of it. That's why I keep saying not a color, not a color. And the way color works, and you can actually check out my like color theory video up here, I will link it for you, is that the color you see is the absorption of all other colors of light, all right? It's just the reflection of that color of light. So black absorbs all of the light, all of the colors of light, and white reflects them all. You know, it's something you have to think about. If you live in a dark home, does it make sense to absorb more of the lighting? I don't think so. Maybe it's just me personally. I like something that's bright and beautiful because, honey, to take all of this in the mirror, I need some good lighting. Sound off and share with me. Do you think this makes sense? Do you live in a house that has black window frames? Have you ever lived in a house with black window frames? Would you paint your window frames black in your home to frame a view, or maybe you just have too much light and you want to get rid of it? I need to hear from you. That's the point of this video. And the other point of your home and your life is to be beautiful and have great design, which I can help you with. So if you need any decorating or design advice, I am at your service. You can always click on the link in the description box down below, or type into that stunning little browser on your computer, intro.co/GarrettLeChic, to book a one-on-one consultation with me to discuss any and all of your design and decorating needs. Waterfall countertops. It's a major kitchen design trend right now, and I want your take on it because I have mixed feelings about it. I really do, and I think it depends on the space I'm working on whether or not I think it makes sense or it's worth considering. Waterfall edge countertops are essentially just extending the countertop material on the sides of the cabinetry. And it's been around for years, okay? This is not something new. It's relatively new, I guess, maybe like the last 10 years or so, but it's not something that's like revolutionary, groundbreaking, just came out this year. What I'm seeing this year, actually, the waterfall edge expanding into the bathroom as well as onto wall cabinetry, like the cabinetry against your wall. If you have an exposed side, you do a waterfall edge on it. The waterfall edge on an island can be great because let's say you have seating at your island. You know, the countertop has to extend out and we're adding more on the sides. That means we can hide some structure in there and get some extra support on that countertop edge that extends out. That means we can do it deeper if we wanted to. You know, there's more leg room underneath, and I think that's really great and worth considering. There are, of course, other types of support you could add. We're just talking about the waterfall edge. The bad side of the waterfall edge on an island is that you can't have outlets on the side of that island because there's a countertop there, but those can be easily moved, and that's okay. There's a lot of things to consider with this. The biggest one is budget. because you're gonna have to buy a lot of extra countertop material to do that with. Do you have the room in your budget to do that? Maybe you have enough remnant or left over from buying multiple slabs to do a kitchen and you can add it on easily enough, it's affordable. Are the veins, are the lines gonna match up on it? That's something you have to ask yourself. I tend to see waterfall edge countertops happen with marble or with quartz or quartzite. I have yet to see it done with granite, but that I think just has to do with trends and popularity. Like granite was really popular in the early 2000s, and then in the last probably 10 years we've been favoring marble and quartz more. So you just don't see it as much because, like I said, this is something that's kind of 10 years old or so. Like a waterfall edge, I'm neither here nor there. I don't think it's the number one thing you have to have in your kitchen. If you're looking to create modern design in a more traditional space, maybe it makes sense to add it in. If you have a really contemporary home, you probably don't need it. Actually, what's really happening with contemporary kitchens is that they don't have an edge front on them. It's just like the slab of stone, you're just seeing the raw edge, which is very thin. Sound off, because I want to hear from you. What is your take on the waterfall edge? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's interesting? Do you like it because countertops are easier to clean? Or do you think it's pure and simply a waste of money? Speaking of a waste, I'm not gonna waste these precious moments because guess who just came into the studio here with me? Cornelius. Hi, and he brought his little brother Arden. Let's say hello to them. There he goes. Look who came to say hello. Hi there. Oh. Both of yous. Hi. Arden, are you actually here because you want to be with me or are you just jealous? Huh? I think he's just jealous. Oh, you're so jealous of you, my bullfrog. Oh, yeah. Are you so happy to be here and say hello to everyone? Oh, I know you are. And I think he's very happy to say that you should take this moment and hit the subscribe button. Join us. Become a part of our family. Yeah? Yeah? We are on our journey to reaching 100,000 subscribers, and we will get there soon. So be a part of our first 100,000 family members. And don't be fake. Hit that subscribe button. Join us. And I think we would all agree that you should give this video a like because you made it this far. There's clearly great value there. And there's also bulldogs. Okay, look at this. Oh. So handsome. Be sure you join us because Cornelius is about to run. Okay, all right. Hey. Okay, now that the dogs have run off and they're having some fun on their own, let's talk about the next trend we absolutely have to discuss. And I've talked about it quite often. You know my opinions on it, but I want to hear yours. That's the linear fireplace. The linear fireplace is essentially just a very long and thin fireplace. Very horizontal, very linear. And I don't personally love it because I think the scale is just a little bit off unless you're doing something really authentically mid-century or you have a very like low ceiling, long space. It just feels a little off to me. It feels like too small. And like I said, I think the linear fireplace is great in a space that meets the scale of it. And if you're going to do this in your home, you're like, no, I really like it. Give me something interesting on the fireplace surround. Like give me a cool hearth, give me a mid-century reference design, something maybe a little asymmetric. I think that looks interesting, but my main problem with a linear fireplace is that sometimes it's literally just a black rectangle on a wall. And I don't care for that. I don't care for it so much. It's easier to work with, a fireplace insert that's square, in my opinion, on a flat wall than it is a linear fireplace. I just want something that matches the proportions of the room. I think it's a trend. I personally feel it will be a little bit dated. Okay, so that's just my take on it, but I want to hear yours. Do you have one? Do you like it? Do you love it? Sound off. If you have a linear fireplace, the most important thing to reference off of this is probably going to be your television. I find that most people want to put a TV above a linear fireplace, which is fine. Okay, it's like modern, contemporary, new living. We don't want a TV like off to the side. We want it centralized where we can see it. Great. Okay, no judgment there. In my dream world, the TV is the same size as the fireplace, right? The same width, the same length, if you will. The dimensions should align up in some way. There should be a reference point there to increase the scale. I also would do something built in to try and disguise the TV a little bit. Maybe it's, recessed in and there's like a black surround on it. The whole thing is black to disguise the frame of the fireplace and the TV. Like that's what I would love to see. Something that makes sense and really looks elevated. And that's my problem, I feel like, with the linear fireplace. I just have not seen a lot of them that I can legitimately say, like, that looks so good. It looks so elevated. It's such amazing, incredible design. It feels to me like it's different for the sake of being different. But tell me, what have you done with yours in your home? How have you made it elevated? What have you done to make it work? Or when did you see one that was elevated? Or maybe you're like me and you never have. And don't get me wrong, I've seen beautiful linear fireplaces in elevated multi-million-dollar homes that are custom designed and really just expensive. And maybe that's what it takes to make them work and look good. But if you have an alternative, if you've done something or seen something, describe it, sound off, share with us in the comment section down below, because some of the girls with the linear fireplaces, they need a little help and we want to hear from you. A trend right now that is kind of going viral on social media that we have to talk about and discuss, because I want your opinions on, is the unexpected pop of red. Red is a very strong color. It's very vibrant. It's one of the strongest colors there is to work with in your home. And I don't personally love red. I love a red toned wood, mahogany, cherry. Ooh, that is my wheelhouse, okay? I love that and you know it. But red as a color in itself is so strong and it can really have a lot of meanings. And there's a lot of psychology behind the color you use in your home and the feeling you will get out of it. For example, red is a very strong color because it can mean anger. It can mean pride. We associate it with being patriotic. We associate it with holidays. It can be very nostalgic, but it can also be a color that evokes anger. It can be a color that feels very sultry and intriguing. Red has to be used in a very thoughtful way because it is what you are going to see. You will notice it straight away. It is the first thing your eyes gravitate towards. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. What message are you sending? That's the question. Do you want something that is really going to pull attention? And maybe that's what you want to do. If you have a very minimal feeling space and it's very kind of cold and lots of blacks and grays, adding that touch of red can really draw your eye to it, can gravitate to it, can really warm up a space. But if you already have a space that has a lot going on and you add red into it, well, I don't see anything of what's happening now. It doesn't make any sense. That's what I do for the holidays in my home. I love to decorate for Christmas because we love to celebrate. We love a nostalgic feeling space. So my home is very white. There's a lot of creams. There's a lot of blue in it because that's what I just really like to decorate in those colors. I like to wear those colors. So in my home, when I decorate for Christmas, I'm gonna have pops of red to pull attention towards them in specific areas. So you see what I want you to see, and maybe you don't see what I don't want you to see. That allows me to work within my existing decor and everything, and I can just layer in small pieces to really make the space feel festive. The unexpected pop of red can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Because like I said, red evokes specific colors emotionally. For example, if we want to have a relaxing space, I'm not going to add red to it because red is a very high energy color. It's very impactful. That's why a lot of exercise equipment like machines, they have red features or details or script or text in red in them because it's a very motion oriented color. It's very active. It's very bold. It adds life into a space and it will pull from everything else you see. So what's your take on the unexpected pop of red? Do you like it? Are you expecting it? Is it unexpected? Would you do it in your home? Is red a color you like to work with? For me, not so much. I don't have any red in my home outside of the red that's used in artwork because that's just what the artist's intention was, so you roll with it. But I don't bring red accents in until the holidays. I want to hear from you though. Would you use that pop of red in your home? Now, when it comes to decorating, there is a big difference between, pulling inspiration from a trend or just making mistakes that make your home look cheap. Let's avoid them. And you can do that by checking out this video right over here. Be sure you click on it, check it out, and I will see you over there.